Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are discussing messages for your next week. This is a pick a card reading, which means I've got three options here for you. This is the part where you get to use your intuition to pick the number, the card, or the object that resonates with you. And then I have timestamps down below in the description. You click on the time and then you go to your reading, where then I use my intuition to read the cards for you. Take what resonates, and let's take a look at our objects then, shall we? For group one, we have, I'm doing cookies, by the way, these are cookies. This is a rainbow cookie for group one. For group two, you guys get the cupcake cookie, or I don't know if it's an ice cream cone. Ice cream cupcake, what do you guys see? Let me know in the description, or let me know in the comments. And for group three, you guys get the watermelon cookie. So the other thing I'd like to ask you guys is a favor. If you could just hit the like button for me or make a comment just so I know that you're here, I would so appreciate that. That would help me out so much. And that's the favor I'm asking you, and you get my eternal gratitude for doing that. And then, I'm gonna do a breathing exercise. So if you still don't know which one is for you, I invite you to do a breathing exercise with me. 6 seconds, 6 breaths, or 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. That is supposedly mimics the waves of the ocean. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and breathe in. And release for 6 seconds. Set the intention that you are going to hear the messages that you need to hear, and breathe in. And release. Just release any tension and be here in this moment. Go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the pile for you. So thank you so much, and I will meet you at the reading. Hello, group one. If you picked the rainbow cookie, you are in the right spot. Let's take a look at messages for you for next week. And we've got sunrise. So very interesting with sunrise, because it seems like spending some time outdoors. I'm just talking about the combination of your, picking up a rainbow, picking up a sunrise, tomorrow's a new day, kind of looking on the bright side of things. I think you're giving yourself those vibes, and I think you're giving yourself that type of advice. It's the small things. Enjoy beauty, be out in nature, and I will begin anew each day is the affirmation that comes here with sunrise. But renewal is also a very big part of the rainbow too, right? Because we get that after rain comes, and we get that renewal energy that's just really beautiful. Everything seems so fresh and so clean. And so don't forget to start off and look for new beginnings. No matter what has happened, no matter what has gone on, we are like every day is a reminder that we're in part of a cycle, and we can choose how we start every day. So set those intentions that you are going to connect with that idea of renewal, connect with that vibration of renewal, and set that intention of what type of day that you want to have. You can definitely do that. I love the idea of setting intentions for I'm trying to find my cards here. Trying to set intentions for, you know, even just the little things like your shower. I love setting intentions when I go to bed. Like I'm going to have like a restful, I think about this before when I'm closing my eyes, I'm going to have a restful night's sleep. I'm going to wake up refreshed. I'm going to have, you know, dreams, you know, and I'm going to remember those dreams when I wake up. And you can definitely do that even with your shower. You can set the intention that the shower is going to feel like a renewal for you, that it's going to be refreshing. And when you start setting intentions for, I love the Ace of Fire here, so setting intentions for each segment of things that you do, like even your drive to work, that, you know, I'm going to have a good time. So even when you do come up with a challenge, let's say on your drive to work, you're just like, it's a little bit easier to calm down and just like look for the positive things and look for the great things that are around you. Okay, so one more card. These are angel cards. I wanted to do like gentler messages, just things that we need to know for the next week. Ooh, interesting. We got Ace of Fire, Two of Fire. So that indicates kind of like you have an idea that you want to do something and you actually are taking steps to move forward with it. Next week seems like, well, and then the Eight of Waters, you're moving away from something because you're not entirely happy with it. Again, part of that cycle, part of that renewal. And then we've got life experience here. This is connected to Archangel Shamuel, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. It's interesting. I love this deck. And I was like, you know, I haven't played with my angel deck in a while, and I think we could use some gentle messages. Life experience is, it's the Tower card. And a lot of times this is like the scariest card in the deck, but I love the way that this is handling the whole life experience thing. It's interesting too, because a lot of times we get scared of these Tower moments. I remember a woman asking, she was like pulling cards for her like 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old kept getting the Tower card, and she was like, it basically paralyzed her, right? But it's not surprising given like this, the life experience, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. When you think of it in that term, it's actually very positive. And for somebody who is like 3, putting on your socks is a life experience. You know, that's a Tower moment. A lot of times we connect some negative emotion or some negativity to these types of life experiences. And the reason that we do that is the way that we're built. Our psyche, our psychological influences here. When I'm thinking about the ego gets a really bad rap, but the ego keeps us like slow and steady, even keel, moving forward, doing the same thing every day. And when something new comes in, it freaks out a little bit, even if you're asking for something new, even if you want something new to happen. So what I love with the life experience here is that, again, back to this cycle, like we have new things, we have new days. So a lot of newness here coming in for you next week. And the Eight of Water suggests that this newness is coming in because it's something that you actually need or want, or you want to move away from something. You're not fulfilled where you are. Eight of Water says a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. So this could be in your job situation. This can be in a relationship. This can be just, you know, sometimes you're something that I moved on from recently is there was this game that I played online, and it was a great time, the great thing to fill up my time, but it just was that. It just filled up my time. It didn't really give me any new skills, and it was just leading to frustration, and it wasn't fostering my relationships. So if you find yourself in a similar situation where you're doing something, like pay attention to what you're spending your time on. What are you doing? Because this can even be something like moving on from, you know, Netflix and chill, moving on from like that TV series or that TV show that you're watching, and if it just frustrates you, it's not worth it anymore. What is there? What is out there? And that's what the Ace of Fire is suggesting, like, is answering that question. Like, what is out there? What is there more for you today? What intention are you setting for today? And the thing is, when you don't set an intention for the day, when you just kind of like let the day happen, it just brings up kind of like you're on autopilot and you're not creating something new. But the Ace of Fire and the Two of Fire are suggesting that it's time to create something brand new. This also kind of reminds me of, there was a grass fire. And those can be pretty destructive. Those can be kind of scary, but it burned, I would say 5 acres. They got on it pretty quickly. But what was really interesting is after, like, you could definitely see, I'm in Colorado. This happened in like a field. There were no trees, nothing. It was just grass, right? There's grass fire that happened, and for like a week, it looked pretty bad. After that, though, that area that burned was way greener than all of the other areas around it, and it was actually really beautiful. So a lot of times when we're in this life experience, when we feel that something has been moved out of our way, that something has been, you know, we have been moved into a new place. We've been taken somewhere new, and we know that it's for our own good. We know that it's something that we've like really been looking forward to, kind of putting that intention out there that that is actually what we want. But sometimes it's really scary. Once you look around though, and that's what I feel like this Ace of Fire and this Two of Fire is about, is what is it that you really want to do? What is it you really want to spend your time on? Okay, you're watching me on YouTube. Is there something else that you can be watching on YouTube that, you know, moves you in a direction that you want to go? Is there some sort of skills that would be useful for your job? There are so many things and so mmany great creators on YouTube that you can learn so many things for free. If that's not there, if you know, that skill or that thing that you want to do isn't on here, you know, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning, maybe it's like connecting with people in your community who do what you want to do, and maybe you do start with LinkedIn in that sense. Maybe it is setting up just a LinkedIn account and start networking with people in the field that you want to be in. Maybe it is going to your local library and actually check out your library, because it's something like Dungeons and Dragons. You want to connect with people who have like the same kind of hobbies or mindsets that you have. There are groups like that the library hosts for free, and I feel like that's a specific message for some people to like, wait a second, I do have a lot of resources around me. And when you start, maybe the library isn't perfect for exactly what you want to do, but if you start looking into that, then it takes you down a rabbit hole to you know, this Two of Fire, where you are actually putting a goal to this desire, to this passion, to this budding new thing. I saw somebody the other day who had just she took pottery classes, and she was looking into archery. And then other people were suggesting things in our community that you can do and where you can go to find those things. So this Ace of Fire says an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. So I feel like in the grand scheme of things, the Eight of Water kind of comes before this, because you usually have your emotions like tell you that something isn't right, and usually you're just going along with the flow, because you don't really know how to make the change. This life experience, that change happens to you, and you're like, whoa, and you're kind of caught up in this kind of like, oh no, this cycle. But what it's actually having you do is think about, or just look up from like the end of your nose and what, your nose to the grindstone, what you've been doing daily, what have you been doing every day, and what are the new opportunities that are around you, because it feels like there is a major like shake up here where it's like, hey, wake up there. There's more to life than what you're doing right now, and it's time to walk away from some things. It's time to let some things go. It's time to get on with this new experience. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about it. Archangel Shamuel has your back. And then we end up here with this Two of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue moving forward. And I love this. This is like, you get this idea, and then all of a sudden it's like, whew, you find that community, those people that you want to do those things with, the things, whether that is like a new job, career advancement, whether that is something very social that you would like to do, new types of skills, and then you find people who are into those types of things as well. And let's just all starts with that intention. It all starts with that renewal energy. It all starts with seeing as an obstacle as a opportunity. Oh, very nice. Wow, building blocks and by the book. Very interesting. Very interesting that I suggested the library when we get by the book. And then even in building blocks. Building blocks is perfect here. It's, new skills, new things. It's just confirmation of what I've talked about, what I've said. Even though, like in the very beginning of things, it can look pretty rough. And that's okay. Just understand this is like foundation that you're going to build upon. And maybe like even in this figure here, there's like kind of like this pedestal that she's on. This looks like a Greek goddess. You're creating yourself, basically. You're creating things in your own mind. And sometimes it looks kind of rough to begin with. As the life experience suggests though, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. So dig into that experience and start building exactly what it is that you want out of these tiny little skills. And sometimes it takes you thinking about taking it apart so that you can figure out the tiny little pieces that need to go together so that you can get what it is that you want. And then buy the book. I love this for a couple reasons. First of all, we've got 3 figures here. We've got, 2 figures and a dragon here, and then we've got 3 elephants here. So it suggests finding that community, like the Two of Fire is talking about, this new partnerships, this going, you don't necessarily need to forge your own path every time. When you do have an idea of what you want to do, figure out what the people before you have done. It doesn't mean that you can't put your own spin on it. It doesn't mean that you can't be unique in this, but before you break the rules, you should know what the rules are. And I am definitely one for breaking rules. I'm all about that, but I love to know what the rules are first and knowing why they're in place, because then you know how to break them. And that's absolutely important when we're doing something creative, and the Ace of Wands and the Two of Fire suggest that it's creative. It suggests, and the Eight of Water suggests that this is something that is emotionally fulfilling for you as well. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. I love that. Remember to set your intentions. Don't be afraid of change. It's here to move you to the place that you've been dreaming about, the place that you've been praying about, the place that you want to go. And next week, it's like, hey, let's push this a little bit more for you. Let's set this in motion. So just remember that. That the intention is what's really important, because then that is what takes an idea that you may have had in the back of your head and helps you to act on it and helps you to like build on it with these building blocks. So love this for you, Group 1. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. If you picked this cupcake cookie, you are in the right spot. I'll move that out of the way. And actually, 2 cards came out for you. We'll take a look at them. We have number 7, Mackinac Bridge, and number 10, Pictured Rocks. So it's really interesting that both of these came out. It almost feels like next week is going to be a little bit about balance and finesse for you, because the messages in both of these is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is Mackinac Bridge, it's a long suspension bridge. It's an architectural wonder, you know, just like all of these bridges. They're really beautiful. I'm thinking, you know, Golden Gate Bridge as well. But you probably haven't heard of Mackinac Bridge. This is the Great Lakes Oracle, by the way. So it talks about this particular bridge that divides Lake Superior from Lake Huron. It's an incredibly long suspension bridge, and it reminds us of our ability to bend to the flow and to connect to whatever life brings our way. Okay, so we're bending with the flow, we're connecting things, but over here in Pictured Rocks, we're also standing strong. The affirmation that goes along with Mackinac Bridge is, I am connected to what will make me grow. And I guess that's not too different from over here at Pictured Rocks, because Pictured Rocks really is connected to the environment around it. It is really kind of carved out of that environment though, with the waves having carved this beautiful 500 million year old sandstone that's been carved by ancient waves of Lake Michigan. They're colorful layered rocks painted with a large amount of minerals. Just as Pictured Rocks tower tall above the water, you can choose to stand tall in your journey through this life. The affirmation that goes with this is, I will stand strong. So I think when I first see them though, and we're getting like a bridge and some rocks, like a bridge is bridging the gaps between different people, but also making sure that you set boundaries around yourself. It is okay to say no. It is okay to, you know, stand strong and be who you are, even while you are reaching out to other people and kind of like bridging those gaps. They're not 2 separate thoughts. You don't have to say yes to everything. And that's what's coming through here. Let's see what other messages we get. 4 of Fire. Oh, I like that. 10 of Earth. And I'm gonna get 2 more of these. These are, this is an Angel Tarot deck. Ace of Earth, nice. And so next week we're talking about abundance, and Knight of Air. So yeah, we've got a lot of going on here. Make sure everything fits so you can see it all. Let's start off with the first card that came out. We have the 4 of Fire. 4 is a number of stability. If you've seen any of my readings, you probably know that, because I say that almost every single time I get a 4 that comes up. If you think about 4, a chair has 4 legs, a car has 4 wheels. Sometimes they have more, but it's, you know, standing strong and standing in stability. Commitment, peace, and abundance. Abundance very much here for you this week when we've got the 10 of Earth and the Ace of Earth as well. So that's connected there. A happy home life, the successful completion of a project. 4 of Fire also talks about like a celebration sometimes. It can be like an engagement. It can be a baby shower. It can be kind of like a moment of pause. Like if you think of, as we're going through tarot, and as we're going through numbers, we start at Ace and then we go all the way through 10. So 4 here is like we're starting down our journey, but it's a moment where we're feeling really good. We're starting off, we're doing well, we may have hit an obstacle or 2 and you've navigated it beautifully. And it's those small moments that you should take and really appreciate what you've done, the things, what you have conquered, where you've gone through. Don't wait too long until you give yourself props, until you pat yourself on the back, until you feel proud. Like even every day, just thinking like you made it through and that you're doing really well. You can like think about that and give yourself props. So love that for you. We also have the Ace of Earth and the Ten of Earth. Both of these are connected. They're in the same suit. The Earth cards are Pentacle cards. They talk about abundance. And they're very much connected to our physical world. 10 of Earth here, a very happy family, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. I feel like that really connects to what I was talking about with this 4 of Fire. And then also the stability. So I'm feeling like next week is a week where if you haven't been feeling stable, perhaps like thinking about the Mackinac Bridge, or even the pictured rocks, that life comes at you in those waves and it's just going to sculpt you. Everything that you have been through has led you to this moment, to where you are right now, and things are probably not as bad as they seem. Like if you're going through a struggle, next week is really a time to think about where you were 5-10 years ago. There's this beautiful thing that's going on and I think I've only seen women do it. Can't remember exactly what song it is, but it's on Instagram, or Instagram Reels, where women have been taking pictures of like their younger selves and talking about like what they're doing right now and how like proud their younger self would be of them right now. So I'm getting the feels with that because I love thinking about that. Like, and if your younger self wouldn't be proud of you, why is that? And it's not too late to, make a change, because look at this energy that's for you next week. It's beautiful. So even if you felt like you had like made some wrong turns, like those wrong turns, again, they've sculpted you and made you who you are. I love, there's a skincare, Peaches Skincare. It's owned by this woman, beautiful woman named Lisa. She's in her 50s and she talks about, all the lines and all the wrinkles on her face. And I feel like that's really connected to this as well. Just appreciating the beauty in the imperfections. The next week is a good time to do that. And then we've got Ace of Earth, the inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. So when that stuff comes over, and we've got the Ace of Air, or the Knight of Air over here, it might be something that comes in pretty swiftly for you next week. So be on the lookout for these opportunities. If you have an idea, Ace of Air has all of the potential of Ace of Earth, excuse me. I'm looking at the Knight of Air. The Ace of Earth has all of the potential of the Pentacles, right? We also have the 10 of Earth here, which leads me to believe that you have all of the potential within you to whatever this new business venture is, whatever this brand new thing that's coming up for you, that you're able to grab onto that and see it all the way through. Okay, then we've got the Knight of Air, and I feel like whatever's coming in can come in pretty quickly, because that's what knights do. They move quickly, and so does air. Air moves quickly as well. Intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. So whatever is happening next week, I feel like it feels really good, because to be tireless, you have to be like excited about it. Events that occur with great speed, take time to carefully review your options, and creative solutions. Now it's interesting that says take time to carefully review your options here, because the Knight of Air probably wouldn't do that if you didn't remind him to do that. Like, hey, hold your horses. Are you headed off into the right direction? Because he gets really excited and he just wants to go, 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 go. But yeah, I have, when you have got the Ace of Earth and the 10 of Earth here, that's a lot of really great grounding energy for you. And even like these pictured rocks, really great And the Four of Wands, really great grounding energy for you. So I don't think you're going to do anything that's like super impulsive, but I feel like whatever is coming in is, it can come in quickly. I'm just going to get 2 more cards here. Oh, time for a nap. Oh. And then we've got milk and honey. Ooh, and then peace. These both kind of popped out, so I'm going to take them both. You were getting extra cards, group 2, because I was only going to take 2 and I was only going to take 1. But Spirit says you need more, and who am I to argue with Spirit? I have, but not this time. Take time for a nap. So even though like things kind of feel super exciting, just relax. I almost feel like it's kind of connected to this 4 of fire energy, that to like give yourself a reward, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, to make sure that you're not running yourself ragged. I feel like if it was just the Knight of Air here, that he would definitely run himself ragged. You don't have to do that. Just make sure that it was group 1 where I was talking about setting intentions. So I feel like before you go to sleep at night, just set the intention that you're going to get a really great night's sleep, and you're going to wake up feeling rested. And yeah, and then milk and honey. This is beautiful. They talk about the land of milk and honey. I think that's in the Bible. And then we've got an elephant kind of bathing here in the milk and honey. Milk and honey can be a, it's connected to beauty as well, but in this instance, I feel like it's for you just a confirmation of what we've talked about here with the 10 of Earth and the Ace of Earth, and these brand new opportunities coming in here for you. A taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, trusting that your needs will be met. Sometimes we look at what's going on and we're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make it? How am I going to, with wherever you are in the world and whatever is going on, there are always people who are trying to convince you that things are worse than what they are. And I feel like this is a big kind of like focus on yourself, focus on your goals, and just a trusting in the universe that your needs will be met. I love the rainbow coming in here. It's interesting that you guys get the card with the rainbow on it when you didn't pick the rainbow. But I love that because rainbows talk about renewal. They come after a rain, and just really beautiful sign here for you. There's also, gold at the end of the rainbow. Oh, very beautiful. And then we've got 23 peace. And I just feel like this is very much connected back here to this 4 of fire when I was talking about feeling like the contentment, feeling like the stability, and even the milk and honey, feeling that stability, but the earth, elements coming in here, feeling really grounded. I feel like it talks about you really being in the moment and not being worried about the future, not beating yourself up about the past. The other interesting thing, whenever I see 23, and people my age or basketball fans will probably see this as well, I always think about Michael Jordan, and it always makes me think about not necessarily that he had a peace, peace as because he wasn't at peace at all, but he was very driven. And when you think about Michael Jordan, you think about him being a winner, you think about him being a champion, but he wasn't afraid to take shots. He wasn't afraid to take a shot, and he missed a lot of shots, but he took a lot of shots too, and that was part of his success. And I feel like there's that message in there as well, even though we're talking about peace, freedom from attachment, and then radical acceptance, just accepting and of where you are at this moment and being okay with it, being in alignment with who you are. And I feel like that is kind of like the Mackinac Bridge and the pictured rocks here as well. That just accepting yourself for who you are and that you are beautiful. You don't have to use filters. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody. You are your own unique person, and that's okay. And because that's exactly what we need you to be, what everybody else needs you to be. You don't beat yourself up about it. Be in this moment, enjoy, and because I just feel like a certain calmness with the peace and the time for a nap here, that don't get too wrapped up in this night of air energy where you feel like you need to be going for things, you need to be achieving things, you need to run and run and run and run. It's just a more relaxed energy, and just like a sitting back and letting it unfold. But I feel like the Knight of Air is here to let you know that it is going to come in swiftly if you believe in yourself. So that's what I have for you, Group 2. I love this for you. Love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next reading. Hey, Group 3, if you picked the watermelon, you are in the right spot. Let's take a look at your cards. So the first 2 cards that come out for you, and you're lucky, I was only planning on pulling 1, but 2 popped out. We've got 15 Fresnel Lens, and then we've got 31 Beach. And I find this really super interesting because the Fresnel lens, this is like the lens that they use to amplify light in a lighthouse. So essentially this would kind of guide ships in the night, or because this is the Great Lakes Oracle, by the way, so it's centered around that. But this lens would basically kind of let those ships know where the beach is when it's at nighttime or in really stormy weather. This illuminates things in the darkness. And I kind of love this, especially this setup, because, well, let's see, the affirmation that goes with Fresnel lens is, I see the light that illuminates my path. And it talks about like illuminating things maybe that you have kind of deep down, that you've kind of buried. We can talk kind of about our shadow self here. And this is a very bright light. So it can be kind of uncomfortable, especially when we're talking about our shadow self, especially when we're talking about things that we've thought that we've buried. We really do need to face these things, bring it out in the light. The light sanitizes things, truth sanitizes things. And when we have it buried, it affects us kind of emotionally in ways that you may not really fully understand. So it's time to release some of those things, or and it's also can be time to embrace that shadow self, embrace the things, the attributes about yourself that maybe you have kept hidden, even from yourself. Sometimes we keep things hidden, and it's probably not as bad as you think, okay? And then we've got 31 Beach, and this is why I find this interesting, because I love this line here. This deck is really beautiful. The Beach talks about where the physical and the spiritual meet. This this line can be shifting, this line can be changing. And I love, like I was saying, the light with this, because I kind of feel like sometimes when we talk about our shadow self, when we talk about those things, dark night of the soul, that can be a very kind of spiritual journey. And if you feel like you're on a spiritual journey, if you feel like you want to discover yourself more, if you feel like you want to amplify self-love, like this is the week to do it. This is what it's talking about. I am focusing on my higher self. Sometimes I ask, what would my higher self do in situations? And I sometimes I don't like the answer because it's not what I'm doing right now. Have you ever felt the pull to the beach, like a radio frequency sending out its sound waves? The beach calls something inside of you. Many people are called to the beach where the heavens seem to meld into the earth's water. And I love when you're looking out on the beach sometimes, even this transition here between the water and the sky is not so evident. It just seems like it goes on forever. I have 3 decks I'm working with today, so I have to get these cards out. What else do we have for group 3? What else does group 3 need to know? Page of Water. Oh, 3 of Earth. Right? Our water and our earth. That line that's coming in. What else? Let's see. Whoa! Ego. Very interesting. And one more. Well, these both want to come out, so we've got 2 of Air and Queen of Earth. A lot of air and earth energy. And I'm going to start with this Ego card. Reason being is it's a major arcana card. Ego, Archangel Jophiel. So this card, if you need to connect to an archangel or pray to an angel to get through something, Archangel Jophiel has your back. The Ego card says a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So if you're like, wait a second, I've never heard of the Ego card before, it's because in this deck it renames the Devil card. And it is about, so just if you know something about tarot, I love the Ego though, because it is very much connected to it can be like addictions, it can be things that it says false sense of entrapment. So sometimes we feel like we have to do something because we feel like there's no way out, and that's why it's like connected to addiction. So you have to have that morning coffee, you have to take this pill, you have to do this thing, you have to emotional eating can be one of those things. It's interesting that we have the 3 of Earth here. I often feel like the 3 of Earth can be about your health and can be about kind of like bodybuilding, kind of like working out. And sometimes, so if you've been feeling like you need to start a weight loss program, pretty much I feel like all of those programs are kind of designed to fail. And that, and this, a lot of people can succeed on them, but a lot of people don't. And the reason that they don't is because they feel like this is something that they're just going to do for right now, and then they're going to go back to their old kind of habits. But the 3 of Earth talks about creating these brand new habits. So instead of eating ice cream every night before you go to bed, maybe you replace it with yogurt, or you do something, these small steps. Maybe you just walk around the block today. Maybe you decide you're going to walk 1 mile every day. And when you haven't walked any miles, a mile seems like a long way, but give it a week or 2 and you're going to be walking farther and farther and farther. I was reading about a guy who wanted to join the gym, and he wanted to lose and he lost a significant amount of weight. But the first thing that he did was he would go to the gym, but he would only go there for 5 minutes, because it was about creating that habit of going to the gym. And he knew he wouldn't regret being there for 5 minutes, or that didn't feel intimidating to him. And then once he got in the habit of being there every single day, just for 5 minutes, then he worked up to more and more and more and more, and he lost a significant amount of weight. And the ego is a part of ourselves. It's a part of our psyche. And sometimes it keeps us trapped in a bad cycle. And it doesn't mean to do that. The ego just wants to kind of keep you in a cycle because it thinks that that is the best thing for you for success. So when you are trying to change things, you need to work with the ego and understand that it doesn't want to work against you. It just wants to keep you safe. And it knows, or, it thinks it knows what keeps you safe. It thinks it knows what's going to keep you happy and what's going to keep you going, alive, because it's been successful so far, right? But if it's not quite the life that you've been dreaming of, shining that light on it, and the boundary, physical and spiritual. It's physical and spiritual here. We've got the Page of Water, and we've got earth, air, and earth. So when I was talking about the beach being like earth, water here, and then air, so it's all kind of represented all in this one card. All of these elements coming together. So that's what the ego is about. Two of air, this is making a decision. This says being unable to or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there's no problem. Kind of feel like this goes along with the ego. You know that there's something, you're shining a light on it, right? And being kind of like in this two of air energy is going along with this ego, just pretending there's no problem, just pretending, going with the status quo, not making any changes. But so then we have to figure out, how do we make this decision? A lot of times it is, and it's really cute here that we have the two unicorns kind of like locking horns. Neither one of them is progressing, neither one of them is moving, neither one of them is making any ground, because they're headed right at each other and they're just stand still. A lot of times this two of air is represented by two swords, that somebody has their arms crossed over their heart, because air is the suit of logic. It's the suit of thinking, but it can be very much about overthinking. And we can really, if you let the ego talk, it can talk you into just about doing anything. So sometimes we need to let go of the ego a little bit, let go of like our logic. We know when we're BSing ourselves. We know when we're telling ourselves a story. You have to be honest with yourself, and I feel like that's what this Fresnel lens is about, is being honest with yourself. This is the week to be honest with yourself, okay? Because we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna start doing some things. We're not gonna go crazy though. We're gonna do baby steps, because we want something that is long lasting, and because that's what the Three of Earth and that's what the Queen of Earth is about here. But we're still talking about, how do we get over this ego? And whenever I see this Two of Air, I also think about, there's this song by Rush, and it's, when you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So even though you're sitting in your chair, you're not doing anything, you're not making a choice because the choices are scary, but sitting there is scary too. Sitting there and not making a choice is also scary. So you're really making a choice no matter what you do. So don't let the right choice that you want to make scare you, okay? And the Page of Water and the Three of Earth is about this right choice. Page of Water, intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. And heightened psychic abilities. This is also listening to your gut feeling, listening to like that spiritual side, rather than what I was talking about, like your logical side can talk you into anything. A new person entering your life. Kind of the Three of Earth talks about new people as well, like working together as a team. If you are looking for a relationship, great sign here for you. But if not, if you are just, making this choice here because you need to move somewhere with your career, you need to do something for your health, you need to do something in your spiritual path along those ways, This is also great because we have somebody coming in, or we have a group of people coming in, possibly even a community coming in, that's going to help you with this ego. Sometimes the ego just kind of makes us feel like we're alone and we're in this kind of like this rut and we have no other options, but this is all about options right here. And then the Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work, and being a team player. And so this means that your decision that you make that you've been dreading, it's really going to be great for you. And this also kind of talks about the Page is somebody who sets out on something new. Don't be afraid to do something new. Don't be afraid to be a novice. Don't be afraid to be a noob. We are all kind of fools in the beginning of something, and that's okay. Again, what I was talking about with getting over this ego, getting out of that rut, starting that new thing, even if it's just like 5 minutes a day that you're going to dedicate towards that until you can get that routine down, and then you push yourself a little bit farther, a little bit more in doing it, then you're no longer that Page. You become a queen, or you become a king. But we have the Queen of Earth here, thoughtful, creative, warm, sensible. Make time for those around you, take a sensible approach, deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. And that means be kind and understanding with yourself as well. You're doing great. You're doing amazing. But I also love that we have the Queen of Earth here when we start off with the Page of Water over here, because it talks about what I was talking about. When you start off with something, you're gonna feel, it's gonna feel like a fish out of water. You're gonna feel like, ooh, I don't know about this. I'm not quite sure, but it's push yourself to it, push yourself through it. There's, nobody is gonna do something perfectly the first time that they try it. Higher power, ooh. And all that glitters. Beautiful. So what I love about this higher power card, I wanted to use these angel cards because, and we've got like this Archangel Jophiel. This is, trusting in your higher self, trusting in that higher power, trusting that the universe has your back. Prayers being answered. And also, when you take a step, God steps with you. You are not alone. Even if you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. And I feel like I love this over here, because even if you feel like you go to the gym and you feel like this is a brand new thing for you, and you feel like you're on an island, you're not alone. You're not the only person to ever feel like this. Okay, you're not the only person to ever have these challenges. You can do it. And then all that glitters. I love this. It talks about a measure of success. It talks about a measure of kind of like taking off the mask, really, and kind of like being real. Because, we have got these masks here on this. All that glitters is not gold, but there's a lot of hard work behind this. It's not about luck, it's about making your own luck. And I feel like this ego energy, we talked a lot of strategies about using this ego and twisting this ego so that it works for you. And I feel like that is kind of like the underlying here of all that glitters. Understand that, some of this stuff is work. But it is also like the fruits of that labor. And we're just talking about a week time frame here, so don't beat yourself up too bad about whatever you do. Like, this is just the beginning. To make some healthy choices, to make good choices, to think about yourself, Even if we're coming in here and working with other people, it's because it's something that you have put in motion, that you're stepping into motion for yourself. So that's what I have for you, group 3. I love you. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next reading.